Hello, my name is Rhino G, and I will be submitting for GDQx Dead Cells patch 1.3. I will be happy to run any of the patches of Dead Cells. 1.1, I believe, being the fastest, or 1.2, I don't remember. The submission will either be a race with Rockstomb or solo. Either way, if Rockstomb gets to submit a run, I will be more than happy to race with him. And so a little bit about Dead Cells. We'll just get started into the run. A little bit about Dead Cells. It's changed a lot over like the year that I've been running it. So this patch, the most recent patch 1.3, I believe is going to be the most like diverse in builds. There's like lots of weapons that you can choose. It's a roguelike, so there's plenty of RNG. The main thing about the latest patch that have changed is they've nerfed a lot, but there's still different sorts of builds, which you can see here that I have a separate range or melee build. So right now I'll be running the melee build that I feel more comfortable with. And yeah. So right now I will just be having Spite Sword, Assault Shield, and 2 infantry grenades. And the default affixes that you should have during the run, which would be Killer Instinct combo, Hunter's Instinct, Blind Faith, Necromancy, Ammo. This is just short for YOLO. We can make it short for YOLO. And Dead Inside. So you want to make sure those are checked or activated so that you can have your run verified on speedrun.com. And we continue on to advanced settings. Permanent timer to keep track of the right time. You can set your goal to 25,000, but nothing higher. And then everything else is just unchecked. So we can begin the run. Again, Dead Cells is mostly just about getting through one area to the next as fast as possible. The timer ends when you fight the final boss, the End of the King. That is for any percent. So right now I'm gonna do a little trick. I'm gonna try to explain everything as I go through the run. Right now I'm gonna show you a little trick that's a little bit of setting up, I would say, which is you have the level set to a higher boss cell, which is I have it on 4 boss cell, which is the highest amount of weapon you can get. And you can see here that they all start at 4. So it's Spite Sword 4S. If I started on 0 boss cell, it would start on 0 or 1S. And some movement that I'll be explaining really quick before I start the run is this movement right here is what you're going to see most of the run. It's not a common movement that most players will use, because if you just use the shield, it's very short compared to this, and a roll is not as long either. So it's a combination of both the shield and the roll, gives you a little bit of an extra boost, and that's the, I guess, exploit that is going to be used the most. So I'm gonna reset a few times to look for critical damage on my sword. You can usually just, there are other affixes that you can combine to be really well, but for the sake of just getting the run over, we will just get critical damage, which I have got right here. So this is prison quarters, and what we're going to be doing is going to be looking for a vendor. Once you find a vendor, you will know that you're going the right path, because the little tip that everyone talks about is once you find the vendor, there's a little scroll here, And all the scrolls you want to put on brutality, because that's the color of my weapons. Here is a vendor, and it unfortunately was a dead-end vendor. So I just go back, but now that I know that I'm on the right path, the exit should pretty much be along this way. There's another scroll over here, which is very important. I'm gonna go grab this, put in brutality. Not the right way. Yeah, you find the exit as soon as you pass the vendor, and then we move on. That was the very quick prison. Less than a minute. It was actually slow for a normal run. You usually reset that, but now we're gonna move on to promenade. And the first mutation that I picked up was velocity, because speedrunners. You get, I think, 9 kills, and then you get velocity. And when you get velocity, you gain some speed, for which they buffed. They buffed it for like 20, I forgot, 14 seconds or something. I know they buffed the duration of keeping velocity, but getting it is 9 kills. Unless they change that as well, but I don't think so. Promenade is very simple. It's you just go all the way to the right. There's only one thing that you may have here to show. Oh, I didn't need to do that, which is probably... I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it. It's also like a random setup. Okay. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Because if I climbed a vine, then I missed the skip, but then I don't remember, I guess. But you can skip the vine. If I climbed a vine, you can skip the vine. You can skip the vine if you go high enough and then do the dash exploit that I was telling you. You can make it to the exit without climbing, which saves a little bit of time. So now we're in ramparts. It's basically you want to find a tunnel where the exit is. There is a hint like this. That T that I just passed over, that I had to climb over, was a hint. Every scroll that you pick up pauses in-game time, which is where you can take your little breaks if you're doing a run live. So it pauses the in-game timer. I'm gonna grab this for some health, for safety reasons, to not die in the run. But so I found that T, and I'm gonna go and check a tunnel for exit, because that T is telling me that the exit is in a tunnel. I didn't check the last tunnel, because when I found the teleporter right there, it's basically telling me that the exit would not be there, I guess I would say. So I went to the next tunnel over, and this is the exit right here. It's one of those things where the longer you play, you get a feel for where the exits are. But that was supposed to be more RNG, and we reduced the RNG aspect of it by figuring out the hint. So now I will just be fighting Concierge. I'll just face tank him pretty much. I'll drink a pot, because one of the mutations that I got, which was the second mutation I took, is Painted Flask. Gives me bonus damage every time I drink. And the third mutation I got was Emergency Triage, however you'd like to say it. It's so that I can drink from the flask faster. Otherwise, it would take me a little bit longer to drink from the flask. So that was the first boss fight. It was very simple. Face tank, use some infantry grenades. The speed on that one depends on how many scrolls you've picked up as you were going through the run. And now... oh gosh. So I didn't find key at all there. So I'm going to continue on with skipping. It's an intentional skip. I just crawled over the top. Usually at the bottom there's going to be a locked door all the time. And I still want this key right here. This is a key room. And it's going to be the exit. It's gonna give me the key to the exit because that's the next locked door. There we go. So I use the key there with intentional skip and moving on to Clock Tower. So that was Ramparts. No, not Ramparts. That was Stilts. Stilt Village. A lot of these are very short, quick runs, and the speed all depends on how much damage you have and the luck of the placement of the requirement to get past the stage. So like I said, Concierge depends on how much damage I have before I got there. And there are like set amounts of damage you can get per map. So this is Clock Tower, and I'm gonna go... Alright, I'm gonna go check this one. This is also kind of... This is very RNG-y, if that's a word. So I just found a tower that had absolutely nothing there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here. Which I believe, if you're on the farthest right of the tower, farthest right of the map, you'll find the key. So that's my belief. So I'm pretty much on the right tower that has a high chance, in my opinion. But if the key isn't here, then okay. So the key isn't here, and unfortunately, it is gonna be on this one side that I didn't check. Normally you would reset, but that also will be a debate, I guess, or a big thing to show who gets a good chunk of the lead in the race. So there's two big maps, I guess, 2 or 3. I would say 3. But you're gonna climb the tower until you find a key to the exit. And there is a hint to tell you where the exit is and where the key is. But I'm positive I passed one of the hints, so I won't be able to show that again. Again, there's a few hints. Not hints. Yeah, there's a few hints in the runs to tell you where you need to go and what you need to get. And mostly, the places you're gonna get a lead in this game is if you have certain damage, if you have, you find a certain area, right? So I could have chosen one of 3 in towers. If I chose it correctly the first time, that would put me in a good lead if the person had to check 2 or 3, like I just did. I just checked 3. Ramparts is the same. You have, if you get a tunnel, what's it called? If you get a tunnel hint, that T that I showed you, then you have to guess a tunnel that you want to go in. And castle is pretty much 50-50. It's not, oh, I shouldn't have healed there. It's not too big of a deal, castle, but if you do get the wrong side of the 50-50, then you're gonna lose quite a bit of time. So there's definitely can be back and forth depending on the decision making of each player that runs the game. I do want to take damage because that causes my Spite Sword to do crits. And at the same time, I didn't want to come in here healed because of because I wanted to drink the flask at the start of the fight, but I didn't. So that was a little bit slower than it should have been. But I'm still keeping velocity, so that's not that bad. So back to where the places that you can take leads on would be Ramparts, a little bit in Stilt, but not too much. It's mainly Ramparts, Towers, and this map right here. This is Castle. So in Castle, I say that it's 50-50 because once you know that you're going the wrong way, you could just go through one of the key rooms, which I'm gonna show you. I'm trying to find 2 keys. So this is one. This is one room, and it's gonna have a key. It's gonna have a mini boss, I would say. And once I kill the mini boss, it will drop a... I definitely don't have enough damage. It's gonna drop a key, which it did right there. And I just go through it and continue on the path. So you see that there's 2 ends. There's the entrance and the exit. If I am wrong that this is the side with exit, then I could just go back through and... I'm not critting. I'm gonna drink the flask and do damage. Okay. So, I went back through the entrance because I feel like this is the side with the exit. And if it's not, I can always just go back. But as you can see, this is what I mean by you can lose time. I also believe that if this is not... Oh, it is the exit. So you saw I passed 3 color doors, and then either side of the doors could be exit. So I just got lucky there and went through one of the doors. I went through green or blue, I don't remember. Then I went back through one of the entrances instead of going all the way through. So this is the final boss already, and the damage output here is also where a good time save would be. However much damage you deal depends on how many scrolls you have or the weapons you choose. Like I said, this is a pretty diverse patch. You can choose a lot of weapons, you have a lot of choices. And alright, that's not good. That was a terrible elite spawn setup. I'm gonna try not to die here. Oh, I don't have any more. I almost threw that run! Oh, I almost threw that run. I didn't have any more flasks to heal with, I was wondering why. But I clutched it with 1 HP. So that's the whole any percent route. 9 minutes 47 seconds. Usually you'd verify it and show the weapons, the settings, mutations that you have unlocked. And that would be how like you verify it. So that was the any percent route. I hope you did enjoy. So about a little bit more about this, it does have some ups and downs with the run. It can show there are portions where you can take back a lead or lose a lead very, very easily, is what I'm trying to say, in a race. But it's pretty fun, and you could compare like items, weapons, and items to which one would be a better run. But then it does come down to some RNG, scroll wise and everything else. Again, I'm Rhino G. Thank you so much, and this was my GDQ submission. Thank you so much for watching.